I'm Mr. Beat. Is President Joe Biden going to die soon? No, it's not what you think. I'm not referring to his old age. Yes, most of us know Biden was the oldest president in American history the moment he was sworn in. No, I'm talking about a tragic, unexpected end. An assassination, or a car crash, or maybe a sudden illness. The reason why I bring this up is because of what's known as the Curse of Tippecanoe, also known as Tecumseh's Curse, or the 20-year presidential curse. The Curse of Tippecanoe is the supposed pattern of deaths in office of every single American president elected in a year ending in 0 going back to the 1840 election. But is it truly a curse or just, another weird series of coincidences? Well, let's go back and learn about Tecumseh and Tippecanoe. Well, Tippecanoe was actually a nickname for William Henry Harrison, the 9th president of the United States and the one who was actually president the least amount of time. Before he was president, Harrison was governor of the Indiana Territory. As more and more American settlers moved into his territory, they encroached on Native American land. In particular, the land of various Shawnee tribes. Two brothers led these Shawnee tribes, Tenskwatawa, aka the Prophet, and Tecumseh, aka the Uniter. Okay, I made that nickname up, but Tecumseh did travel far and wide to form a Native American confederacy to unite against the Americans stealing their land. In 1810, he met with William Henry Harrison at Harrison's house. Tecumseh demanded land be returned to various tribes, but Harrison insisted that deals were made and money was paid, so it was all good. Long story short, the meeting didn't end well, and Tecumseh left angry, basically giving an ultimatum. If the Americans didn't return the land, he would seek an alliance with the British and fight back. Before we get into what happens next, this video is sponsored in part by Atlas VPN. And right now you can get a discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Atlas VPN is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. When you connect to a VPN server, your device is given a new IP and DNS address. All that traffic is encrypted and routed towards the VPN server. When the traffic arrives at the server, the VPN server decrypts the information and allows traffic to access the desired destination. Right now, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is only available on Netflix in the United Kingdom. Using Atlas VPN, I can switch my address to the UK and get to watch it. Voila! Again, currently, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. The deal won't last long, so be sure to check it out by visiting the link in the description box. Okay, where were we? Oh yes. Tecumseh. On November 7th, 1811, as Tecumseh was in the process of recruiting more allies to join his confederacy, William Henry Harrison led a command of around 1,000 men and attacked Tecumseh's confederacy's headquarters at Prophetstown, located near the Tippecanoe River. Tenskwatawa was there, but apparently not the best military leader, and his warriors were outnumbered anyway. Harrison's men ended up destroying much of Prophetstown. Dozens were killed in what became known as the Battle of Tippecanoe. It was a win for the Americans, so decisive that afterward, Harrison got that nickname, Tippecanoe. In fact, when he ran for president with John Tyler as his running mate 29 years later, his campaign slogan was Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Anyway, Tecumseh never forgot what Harrison had done to Prophetstown in the Battle of Tippecanoe. Now, it's important to recognize theorized that this cannot be verified, but according to legend, after Tecumseh was later killed in the Battle of the Thames during the War of 1812, Tenskwatawa set a curse against Harrison and all future presidents of the United States elected during years that end in 0. Remember, Tenskwatawa was the prophet. He could supposedly predict stuff, man. Before Tenskwatawa died in 1836, he supposedly said, quote, "Harrison will die, I tell you, and after him every great chief chosen every 20 years thereafter will die. And when each one dies, let everyone remember the death of my people," unquote. Okay, again, there's no proof that the prophet actually said that. But it's fun to pretend he did, isn't it? Regardless, guess what happened? In 1840, William Henry Harrison does get elected president, but after just 31 days in office, dies from pneumonia. He is the first American president in history to die while in office. Flash forward 20 years later, and Abraham Lincoln is elected president. Lincoln is assassinated after being re-elected on April 15th, 1865. He is the first American president in history to be assassinated. 20 years after Lincoln is first elected, James Garfield is elected president. Garfield is the second president assassinated on September 19th, 1881. 20 years after Garfield is elected, William McKinley is re-elected president. He is the third president assassinated on September 14th, 1901. 20 years after McKinley is re-elected, Warren Harding is elected president. Harding dies of a heart attack on August 2nd, 1923. 20 years after Harding was elected president, Franklin Roosevelt is re-elected for an unprecedented third term. On April 12, 1945, after being re-elected an unprecedented fourth term, he dies of cerebral hemorrhage. 20 years after Roosevelt is re-elected a third time, John F. Kennedy is elected president. Kennedy is the fourth president assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. 20 years after Kennedy is elected, Ronald Reagan is elected president. Reagan is assassinated on March 30th, 1981. Wait, hold up. Reagan didn't die of the shooting. He survived the shooting. The curse is broken. So yeah, Reagan went on to live 15 more years after he left the presidency. In 2000, George W. Bush was elected president, and he also didn't die during his presidency. In fact, he's still alive. Now, many people don't know there was also an assassination attempt on Bush. No, I'm not talking about the shoe incident. I'm talking about the time a bomb was thrown at W. Not a shoe. Yep, a dude from Georgia, not the state, but Georgia the country, threw a hand grenade at him and Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili on May 10th, 2005. The grenade did not detonate, though. So if Biden survives his presidency, I guess there is no doubt that the curse has been broken since Reagan. So obviously there are a lot of coincidences here, but there are plenty of folks who criticize the so-called Curse of Tippecanoe. There are logical fallacies left and right. This supposed curse is an example of confusing correlation with causation, cherry-picking information to fit a narrative, and moving the goalposts in order to make the narrative work. This is a similar case to all those Lincoln JFK coincidences. While the Curse of Tippecanoe is fascinating, the closer you look at it, the less fascinating it becomes. For example, what about Zachary Taylor? He died while in office, but was elected in 1848. What about the fact that FDR was still in office longer than any other president, and literally did more and had more of an effect on the country than any other president? What about the fact that all the presidents died in different ways and in different situations? What about all the presidents who survived assassination attempts, not elected in years ending in 0? Most importantly, what about the fact that we don't have good evidence that the prophet even placed such a curse? Regardless, the Curse of Tippecanoe is fascinating and cool to bring up at parties. So the next time you're at a party, just bring it up with your friends and you'll be the coolest person at the party, I promise. Oh, and President Biden, if you're watching this right now, just be careful out there, okay? So what do you think about Tecumseh's curse? Let me know in those comments. And did you know that I have a Twitter account? Yeah, I'm a professional tweeter. So follow me on Twitter if that's your gravy. Also, I have a thriving Discord server with some of the best memes west of the Mississippi. So that's also in the obli di obla da. Thanks for watching.